Some people get license, debt collectors.
Debt collectors. Yeah, I mean, they go to people's houses. I mean,
And what's the difference between them and you then?
We don't go to the house.
in the first place, number one is you have to pay for letter of demand. Okay.
And how much is that fee?
That question, I know you're going to ask. That question you don't have to answer. That one, you all go and call IRB.
You can arrange a consult.
Yeah, consult. I don't have to talk.
Actually, you don't need me here actually.
No lah, don't say like that lah. Hello and welcome to another episode of Krew Call. Today's episode is going to be special. Actually every episode also be a special. Okay, so today's episode we are actually going to talk about the loss of employment.
That's why Pharaoh sounds so solemn.
Oh, I'm not solemn. Yes, I'm not solemn. Today we take it a notch up today, a bit more.
Yeah, the notch up is Zat get to sit down.
He every time ask him to sit down, don't want. Today I don't know why. Maybe today got special guest, that's why you want to sit down.
Maybe.
Okay, so on today's episode, we have a very special guest. We have Simran from IRB Law. Hello Simran, welcome.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
She was on leave, then she got called back. But she finished the leave already lah. Okay, so anyway, Simran, can you just do a short intro about yourself and what you specialize in?
Sure. I am a lawyer at IRB Law. I've been in practice for 3 years this year.
Okay. So
I specialize in criminal, family law, employment law, and commercial litigation.
Okay.
Recovery of debt,
Alright.
things like that.
Okay.
So that's about the scope of works. Of course, the firm does more, but I specialize in those 4 to 5 aspects lah.
Understand, okay. Also shout out to IRB Law for coming back to us very quickly and being so gracious to be on board with us today. So, okay, actually I have prepared a slew of questions for today.
Hype a bit lah. Kau macam solemn je.
Bro, it's still, no, I mean show mode bro, like interview mode.
Okay.
So not used to it. No. Okay lah. I mean, this is a serious episode. I think a lot of people
fair enough. Because we were talking about the previous episode where payment is always an issue.
Yeah.
How
I think almost every episode we talk about payment. People still haven't paid me. But okay, never mind. Okay, we go on. Okay, today I be doing solemn lah. It's not a word. It's not solemn. Serious.
So solemn, bro.
Bro, we're not doing a sad podcast. We're doing a solemn. No, it's serious. The term is serious. Okay, anyway, let's go on. Okay, Simran. So my first question. What legal protections do freelance workers have regarding payment and compensation? So in our industry, that normally requires okay, so before I start, so what in our industry we have the payment plans, I would say, from employers to employees. So it ranges from 2 weeks delivery to payment, 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So 90% or actually maybe 100% of our freelance workers, our gig workers in our industry, we don't run by contracts. So it's everything word of mouth, like maybe by a text message, like say, okay, I'm going to employ you for 3 days. This amount so and so, then I will pay you 2 weeks later or 30 days later, or sometimes they never tell when it's a payment period. So in this aspect, like we go back to my first question, legal protection. So what exactly, is there any legal framework to this, or how in your best, in your ideas, your thoughts, what are your thoughts about this?
In terms of freelancers, the issue is that the Employment Act, employment law, it just covers employees lah. So unfortunately, freelancers are not very well protected.
Okay.
So even if you don't have a written contract and all that, sometimes maybe it's a bit awkward, to ask them to sign something. But I think that's the best form of protection lah. I think there are a few templates online because this issue with freelancers, not being protected has been going on for quite a number of years lah. So I think some law firms or even legal websites, they put out, template contracts. So in terms of payment, I think the most important is have it in writing. Even a message is okay, At the end of the day, if you want to pursue anything, that depends on you lah. But if you want to pursue anything, if you have it in writing, that's the best, right? It's all there. So I guess to go down into the details of protecting yourselves in cases where, you feel that probably they might not pay, or there's just a risk lah. Every contract you have, there's a risk that they might not pay. So, I don't know how it works in the, the AV industry and all that, but in other industries, we do tell our clients, of course, if the moment they don't pay, you just pull out of the thing lah. That might put pressure on them to pay up, but it's not as simple as that also.
Yeah, but
it's not
like what you say, it's not as simple as that. Like for example, like I don't like people don't know or government don't know that I exist since I'm a freelancer.
Yeah.
Then suddenly like I'm not unhappy with a certain company because of payment issue and I drop by to your office and say hi. You'll be like, what are you doing here, bro? You're not doing anything. You don't have like any backlogs of anything. So how? Usually that's the case in our industry. Don't you agree, Feroz?
Sort of.
Yeah, because like what Feroz say is usually like if I were to be an hirer, I'm like, hey Feroz, are you available? Oh, you're available? Fine. Then we know at the back of our head if I were to hire him, usually it's a 30 days like payment, but sometimes they late.
Yeah lah.
But like the latest I had was 8 months. Then like because I do not know what to do next. And again, like I said, like I don't really have any substance to like, hey, I want to destroy this guy. What can I do?
No, like, even messages are more than enough as long as there's any agreement,
So WhatsApp messages. So it's okay. So for the layman term, so let's say WhatsApp messages, can we use it in court? Is it let's say like if you go to a dispute and somebody wants, okay, I want to go to court with this message and all, is it able to be used in court? Will like the court be
So we've had a lot of cases where not everybody goes around with a contract in their hand. So as long as the messages show that, okay, I'm offering these services, they say, okay, we will pay you this amount. The fact that they've already committed to that, it shows that they have committed lah. So they are kind of bound by it.
So it's something like a black and white also.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Not paper, but maybe more in a digital form in a text. So WhatsApp messages.
The court won't throw it out just because.
So next time if anybody wants to do WhatsApp, say you and so agree, then on a rate they don't pay you, then it's it. So you can use in court.
Guys, Feroz still solemn, guys.
I don't know. I'm just very serious when it comes to this because I'm.
Because you're facing one.
That's your livelihood, what, right?
I'm currently facing one, so I'm very stressed. The guy not paying me, so I'm very irritated. It's a matter very deep in my heart, so I'm very solemn because I cannot swear and go and beat people and all that. Okay, so I think the first question is more or less covered. Okay, so the second question also actually is quite broad also. I think we kind of covered it, but how can freelance workers protect themselves against contract disputes or non-payment from clients? I think it's first and foremost, I think, like you say, black and white, it's important.
Yeah.
Any other tips and advice about this so protect themselves against contract disputes or non-payment from clients?
So in terms of any dispute that you have, there's always kind of two options lah. First, of course, you go see the lawyer. The lawyer will advise you, okay, you can send this thing called a letter of demand. Basically, it's a letter that the lawyer sends for you, demanding that they pay this sum by a certain date lah. Sometimes 7 days, 14 days. So, of course, 50% of the time, the opposing party will pay up.
Okay.
They will pay up. The other 50% of the time, they might ignore.
I understand this.
Then, if let's say they ignore and they are stubborn, because sometimes some companies, they're used to it. They're used to not paying. Yes. They're used to, getting letters from lawyers. They know that if you send a lawyer's letter and they don't reply, you can't do much other than escalate to court.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, so that's another thing to keep in mind lah. A lawyer's letter is not like an order to pay.
Yeah. And also you got to pay money first.
Correct.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Malay won't have lawyer until a divorce, bro. No, I didn't know. I thought if you had a lawyer's letter, it's like, bam, we're in.
Oh, no.
It really depends.
Okay.
Some companies are scared. They are scared. They know that there's a possibility you might escalate. Some are stubborn lah. They don't care.
Good. So
Then like that, what can we do then?
So a letter of demand. So normally, like I understand this. So a letter of demand is when they, like I send to X and X company, whatever, like XYZ company. They can just see the letter, then throw away. Nothing. In 7 days, you don't pay. I mean, the letter will state in 7 days or 14 days. You don't react, you don't pay.
We will take further action.
So the next, so they can, because in the first place, number one is you have to pay for letter of demand. Okay.
And how much is that?
That question, I know you're going to ask. That question you don't have to answer. That one, you all go and call IRB.
You can arrange a consult.
Yeah, consult. I don't have to talk about prices here. We cannot. Sensitive topic. Okay, so I knew you were going to ask. I knew it. That's why I wanted to stop you before you ask. Okay, so prices, that one all you can call directly. IRB, they will answer you. I knew it too well. Okay, anyway, following that, after you pay a lawyer, you go to the firm. Correct me if I'm wrong. You go to a firm, you have the consult. Okay, they'll say, okay, we'll send a letter of demand on your behalf. That doesn't mean they will pay. So the next step is, you have to pay more money to bring it to court.
Then this one investment, I can get return not?
So that's the thing lah. If you go to court and you win the case, you can claim back a portion of it.
Yeah.
A portion of it. Okay.
Because it's up to the court to order how much you get back. So your legal fees can be maybe 60%.
By the time that, if let's say I want to bring it to court, how long does it take?
Okay, so let's say if you come to us today and then, or if you go to any other law firm lah, you go for a consult to send out the letter of demand, it might take maybe 2 weeks to send it out. And then after that you demand for the payment within 7 days, right? It brings us to 3 to 4 weeks. So it also going to court depends on how much you're claiming. Because there's different tiers of courts, right? So at the lowest level, there's the small claims tribunal, which is, the limit is 25,000.
Okay.
So this is the technicalities lah. So if you go to the small claims tribunal, the lawyers are not allowed to be there.
Oh.
So you have to fight it yourself because the court's principle is that your claim amount is not that big. You don't need to spend so much on lawyers' fees, right? If not, then what are you going to recover?
But then if like people like me who don't know how to talk or fight for myself, then how?
You can always consult a lawyer to get advice on how to fight.
Like the lawyer will be my coach lah.
Yeah, but we can't be there physically lah.
Oh.
Yeah, we can't be there physically at all.
Then rabak bro, earpiece already. How? Okay, then.
But of course the court is understanding lah. They don't expect, the litigants in person to be, using all sorts of legal words. As long as you get your point across, it's more than enough.
No, it's quite simple. You can speak proper English, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Nonsense. You think so?
Okay,
Right.
then small claims then next tier up is?
So next tier up is the magistrate's court. So that is from 25 to 60K. So basically which court it goes to depends on how much you're owed.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So so magistrate's court onwards, then lawyers can get involved lah, because the sum is higher. So maybe you feel like it's worth it to fight with a lawyer. Yeah.
Just like you must have a lot of money. So I think what we should do next time, right? All the freelancers, we do a crowdfunding. You need money, right? You go
For legal
I
fees.
don't want to be the finance guys, yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Hey, wait, so medium tier, then high tier?
Oh yeah, then also after magistrate's court is district court, 60 to 250, 250,000. Then after that is high court lah, 250 and above. So that's how you decide which court
I think
you go to.
the small court lah.
yeah, obviously lah. If you anything, I think I'm here, man. Nonsense, fella. Okay, so you okay with your court questions,
Yeah, for now.
For now. All right, sure. Okay, so I think that's fine. Yeah. And yeah, we were saying on that second question is how freelance workers protect themselves against contract disputes or non-payment from clients.
Yes. So of course, either you send the LOD. Of course, you can negotiate by yourself, fight on your own
What's
first.
LOD?
Letter of demand. Sorry.
Letter of demand.
Letter of
okay.
demand, yeah. So most people, they try to fight on their own first. If really there's no hope in getting back the money, a few months have passed, then okay, they see the lawyer. Then again, 50-50 chance lah, whether they pay. If not, then you can go to small claims court if it's below 25,000. Then you go there and fight. The process in the court itself, maybe 3-4 months. Could be shorter. It really depends on
3-4 months. Wow.
So that's where the court takes time lah. Because you need to file papers, you need to go down there, you need to make sure the other person also comes down. So they also need to, defend themselves. That might be the last pressure they need lah to settle. because they don't want to go to court. Once you go to court, there are records that you are in a court case. So it might reflect badly on them. So unfortunately for those really stubborn ones, this is what it takes to get the payment.
Wow.
But on your end, it's a lot of effort lah.
Yeah. Because like for us freelancers, one day of not working, it's
money. Every day we're not working, it's money. Like today we never work, we do podcast, so nobody paying us. Sponsor. I told you already, we need to find sponsor. Okay, anyway, I think we can go to the next question. I actually have another question, but maybe we go to this question, and from there maybe I can branch it out a little bit. Are there any specific laws or regulations that freelance workers should be aware of when negotiating contracts or resolving disputes?
There's no, again, the issue is that freelancers are not very well covered, unfortunately. This is the sad reality. I think there were a lot of MPs pushing for this since like 2018, but until now there's nothing because the protection is for employees, right? But it's not fair to freelancers. But I mean, things to be aware of course, is, maybe just kind of understand how the court system works, your options, because it's not that there are no options. Of course, they come at a price they come at a fee. If you can afford it, then you should try. I mean, you can always go to law firms, sometimes they offer installment payments to help you because we do want to help the community at the end of the day, right? So these are the options that you have in terms of, legal frameworks. There's not much, in terms of disputes. It's really, like I said, you just make sure everything's in writing. That's really the most important. Messages is okay. Emails are better than messages. So, but if WhatsApp is the easiest, then just ensure that payment terms are in writing. That's the bare minimum.
So when you say WhatsApp is screenshot is okay, or do you need the WhatsApp log?
You can do both. I mean, log is better, but a screenshot is also fine as long as you can identify who it is that you're talking to. Yeah.
That brings me to something I want to branch out and ask. Okay, so I mean, the whole reason we are doing this podcast is because of social media. Okay, so is there any legal implications if I ask somebody money on on platforms like Facebook or Instagram? I put so and so owes me money, please pay, or that's one. Or second thing, or I really take a LOD. I put it on Facebook and Instagram, I show and I tag the fella and everybody sees it. What are the repercussions or what are the drawbacks of doing such things? Like we
would it be like we cannot charge with harassment or what?
Not harassment, but announcing it on social media.
So the thing is that you open yourself up to a few more issues If let's say you tag the company, you publicize that this is happening. It's not wrong, you're not breaking any law per se. It's just that you open yourself up to defamation allegations. Harassment possible because companies, they see it as defamation and harassment kind of the same. It's a bit different but the fact is that you have uploaded this, maybe they will argue that you want to lower their reputation. You want to destroy their reputation, make them seem like they don't pay up, which maybe is a fact but that's something you have to defend yourself with. And honestly, if you post these kind of things, the advice that I usually give is that it's not worth the risk
Okay.
Right? Because we've seen cases where even Glassdoor reviews, food reviews on Google, Yelp, people still kena for defamation. Even though, I know it's my right, to post a review.
We know about, the recent case.
The bazaar.
Everybody's shocked.
Correct.
Everybody's like, what's happening? So, it's possible. Okay, so I just want to, before it drops off my mind. So, let's say if I were to do that, I put on, but maybe I put LOD, but I censor their name. Okay, right? I don't know. I just ask you. I don't.
Can
I censor.
I mean, can is can.
I don't show. Them. They cannot do anything, right?
So you're just saying that this company owes, but you're not identifying the company.
But if let's say,
is there still a risk?
If in Malay terasa, what's the word in English? I know that he's aiming me.
Yeah, that he's aiming
but he
you.
censor
Correct.
my name, then how?
Correct. So the thing is that, again, it depends on the company. If they are the kind to, send letter, get lawyers, petty whenever they want, they can do that. They can still pursue, get a lawyer to send you a letter. But again, then it's the same thing If you get a lawyer's letter, by right, you can ignore.
Yeah.
Right? Not for everything. Not for everything. I mean, this is not my advice.
Yeah, don't worry. I understand.
But
I don't know. I never kena lawyer letter before. If I see lawyer letter, go find panic.
yeah, I mean, usually people feel that way, right? So if you censor the name and all that, the risk is lower. But if the company just wants to start a suit against you, wants to sue you, they still have the right to do that. And then you have to end up defending yourself. That's the issue with social media. Because people think, that you can post anything, but there's always this risk lah. And I don't think it's worth it. But of course, if you're pushed to a corner, maybe you might get something out of it. It really, you have to evaluate lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Clear?
No, like for me, like what at the end of the day, what she's trying to say is shut up, don't post Facebook, go lawyer.
Yeah. Simple and sweet. For you, I must explain to you after this breakdown, right? I must have a whiteboard. Kizad, so you understand what she said, right? Don't post Facebook. Okay, so the next question I have will be, what steps should freelancers take to ensure they are properly treated and compensated for their work?
So, like I said, the best is having a contract, or at least the bare minimum is something in writing lah. So, payment terms, let's say the time frames lah. Let's say in 2 weeks you need to pay me the first tranche. Or, I mean, my advice, I don't know if this is practical. Before you even start the work, get a deposit lah. So at least there's something upfront.
But by you saying that, right? Like we were to make black and white. Like, do we need like someone official to back us up with that paper, or is it just my paper?
No, you don't. Okay, so let's say if you want to do a official contract, like, on paper or digitally, then of course you can have it witnessed with a commissioner for oaths. But then again, you have so many clients.
Yeah.
It's not practical to do this every single time.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, you need to pay the commissioner some money, and then you need to go down. It might not be practical lah. But if you don't have that witness per se, it's still okay. I mean, people enter into contracts every day. It's still enforceable.
So if it's if it were to be just us doing our own, it's fine lah. As long as they sign.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, it doesn't need to be.
Macam template ke apa? Krew Call.
Can we will.
Then we charge people.
Like she said, there's something called Google. We put our logo, then they said they sue us also because of these idiots. No, I mean, there's a lot of templates online, like what Simran has said. You can go and find. I mean, as long as it's your other party, normally they read it lah. I would say they will read it. They will have to read it. It's got to be in proper English, not Malay.
ChatGPT, bro. I'm fine.
Actually, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's true.
ChatGPT is very helpful.
Yeah, you can, as long as it's proper worded.
I subscribe to Grammarly.
I A1 English F9. This is the problem. But actually Malay also, my Malay B3 better than yours still. Okay, anyway. Nonsense fella. So like what she's saying, I agree, I understand. But that's the thing. Most of the time we friend.
Yeah.
We want a relationship. We say okay, we let it slide once or twice. Like my recent case also lah, this one. Wow, we friend. Okay, bro, can, no problem. I mean, me being me, I'm kind and softy. And I say, sure. But now you see, I never get paid. So, but I actually prepared a contract.
Okay.
I gave, they didn't sign.
Oh.
That was a mistake on my end also. I
But
never
what
enforced.
if you hold his hand to let him sign? Like he sleep.
That one not advisable.
Like that.
Lucky I got when he's sleeping, you next to him with a pen is something you got a question.
So like break time last time, he like that. He just
Okay, so so you see, but sometimes he's nonsensical, but sometimes his questions
makes sense.
I mean, it's valid questions. It's fair.
No, maybe
it's fair.
like if let's say someone suddenly threatened me to sign, then what am I supposed to do?
You cannot. You don't sign what?
Yeah lah. If someone threatens you to sign by right, even if you sign, you can fight the contract later.
Even though I was forced to sign.
You sign there and below you put I sign under duress.
Correct. Yeah.
I signed there.
Actually, you don't need me here. Actually.
No lah, not to say like that lah. I do business for a few years, so I understand here and there. I later explain to you. So okay,
sign under what?
Okay, so signing under duress. So let's say like what you say lah. Somebody put Singapore no gun. People put parang on your neck lah. Ask you to sign. So when you sign your name below. I signed this document under duress. DURESS.
Alright,
Duress. Later we put caption. So signing under duress, actually, I explain layman. I means somebody put a gun at my head or a knife at my head, then I'm being
Forcing
forced
you,
to sign.
yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
But if let's say that person say, no lah, you lie.
No lah, you put that. They want to take.
Oh.
You still put that. What you cannot. I mean, if you sign normally, correct me if I'm wrong. You sign normally means you did it willingly, but yeah, if you sign normally, you say somebody threaten you means I mean, there's still avenue to fight it, correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, even if let's say you sign it, but there are, let's say, even messages before the signing to show that you're not interested. Actually, you said you don't want to sign, but there are messages from them saying that, you know, if you don't sign, then this is this, you better sign. Even if you sign on the contract without putting the duress thing, you can bring up the messages to show actually I never wanted to sign it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of evidence, you know, you can look at what happened before.
At the end of the day, you must have evidence.
Yeah, that's the most important.
Then following that, you must see how much you want to fight it out.
Correct.
Let's say my current case now also is, it's all WhatsApp text in WhatsApp. If I want to really bring up, I mean, I can go to a law firm like hers and say, let's see what we can do. But I feel it's a lot of work. It's not a huge sum of money. Can buy car after this or what. But
why not? You need a car.
You need a license first. Okay, never mind. Nonsense, fella. Okay. Yeah, I think that sorts of cover that for now. Then, next one is a little bit. Okay, so in our industry, we actually do have females as well. So for all the females listening out, okay, this one's for you as well. You can understand how can freelance workers, male or female, handle issues such as discrimination or harassment in the workplace.
Okay.
What avenues they can go? What can they do?
So in terms of harassment and things like that, again, the organizations that exist are for employees, right? That's the problem. Then you guys are left wondering what can we even do? So number one, if it's serious, you can make a police report,
for sure.
right? Definitely make a police report. Don't be scared to make a police report. Even if it's just for records purposes, at least it's there in the system, right?
Okay.
That this person did this to me. If you want to take it one step further, there's a protection from harassment court, right? So it's called a PHC. So basically you're suing someone for harassment, saying that they harassed you, and the outcome of this entire process, what you want is a protection order, sort of a restraining order.
PO, is it PO?
PO, yeah.
Okay,
So it's sort of a restraining order, basically saying that, you know, you can't come near me, you can't message me, you can't do this, do that.
Yeah.
So it may be difficult if you are still working with these people, you still have the contract. Then it really comes down to whether you think it's worth it to continue the contract or you just want to leave, right? That's the other thing. If it's serious, of course, go to the police. You know, they will do their best to assist you, right? In terms of discrimination, that one is a bit harder. That one is quite hard. There's not that many remedies, you know. Of course, if you're an employee, you can go to MOM and complain. There's this organization called TAFEP, TAFEP.
TAFEP, yeah.
I mean, you can call them, but again, they prioritize employees. But at least they can give you advice on what to do, right? So there are all these things out there, But of course, if it's serious, straight away go to the police, You know, we don't want anything to get worse.
Understand.
Yeah.
Understand. So stop touching me in private.
You touch me in public.
Damn it, I lost that. Okay, Ken. So TAFEP is something we can always put the links later on in our that one so people can.
TAFEP what animal?
Trade.
I'm waiting for you guys to explain.
Oh, is it?
Later I explain to you but it's an organization in Singapore.
Tripartite Alliance for Fair Employment Practices.
Yeah.
So cheap.
Long, cheap. Then TAFEP. It's not animal. It's organization. So it's like what she said is true. It's mainly a lot of things is for full-time workers for us, we always say full-time. Full-time workers So, but still, you can always call them, ask them, email them for help.
Okay.
Yeah. Next question. I think that's quite clear. Okay, this one a bit sensitive. Not sensitive. A lot of people are not aware. This one also you're not aware. But I think recently you asked me about it. tax implications, income tax.
Time to file already, right?
Time to file. Finish already.
Finish already.
If you haven't filed something wrong, finish already. All Singaporeans should have filed already. Yeah. So tax implications. Any considerations that freelance workers should be aware of?
I mean, of course, you still come under. You still need to file your income tax. Don't think that you're not an employee. You don't have to, lah.
Yeah.
In fact, employees have it easier because the employer will do it for them.
Correct.
So you guys really need to read up on the IRA's website. I think they make it quite easy to understand. It can be quite technical, but basically the income that you have, keep proper records. That's really important, lah. Keep records of your income, your expenses. If let's say you're running a business, then business expenses can be what's the word? Deducted.
Yes,
right?
deductibles.
Yes, deductible. So, of course, not everything lah. You have to see what's reasonable. What, let's say, transport from venue to venue. Not going home to going out, and then you put it under business expenses. So all of these things are technical, but you should definitely read up on it. Make sure that you follow, because then there are penalties lah. Right. So, and then there's a whole other thing about CPF, right? Whether you want to top up your CPF or not. I mean, that one is personal choice lah.
Right, yeah.
Definitely personal choice. No, you don't have to do it. Some people do it because they just want something there. So that is also something to consider if you are interested in topping up your CPF. But of course, the income tax and IRAS requirements are by law lah. That one you have to do. So in February, March, you better start collecting everything, having all the records. You go on the website, start typing lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand?
I filed already, brother. That's why I understand. You understand? You got filed not?
That's why I asked you. You understand?
I understand because I filed. I asked for you who actually this question. But okay lah. It's actually quite straightforward. When I did filing this year, they actually have a gig worker
section, right?
Section,
yes,
so it's actually it makes it easier. But when it comes to income tax, gig worker all when it comes to all this, no gig worker, very sad. Okay, so this other question actually we kind of covered guidance on drafting contracts and agreements, but like you say,
there are templates
online, Google, okay, sir.
So you just pick and choose what you want to include. I mean, of course, you change the payment terms as and when, but there are certain things that are standard lah. It doesn't have to be long. Contracts don't have to be long. If you don't understand what's in it, then no point putting it in.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So make it as simple as possible to understand, so at least you also know what it's saying, right? Doesn't mean it's complex, all sorts of legal language.
So would you advise like it's a yearly contract or like a 5-year one time you change kind of contract?
Really depends. So you can use the same contract for years on end, right? At most, you just have to change as and when there's a new client lah, new name. Payment terms will differ anyways. So just ensure that you're keeping up with the law, But then again, there's not much to keep up with. It's not like you need to put in CPF contributions, leave, and all that. So all of that shouldn't come in anyway. So you can use the same template for years, right? It's just certain things needs to be changed every now and then depending on the client. Of course, I don't know whether it's practical, out of pocket expenses. Do they reimburse you? I'm sure that's even harder to fight for. Depends on the company.
Yeah.
So of course, first instance, put everything in Why not? Then if the company comes back and negotiates, you see what you can let go of
Yeah.
True.
All right.
Next question.
Oh, sure.
That no more solemn already, are you? The hype way.
Because of you, all thanks to you, bro.
Hi, welcome to Krew Call.
You must understand. It must go up like that.
Bam!
Okay. All right. So with that, and the next question. Okay, the next question is what recourse freelancers have, like what you're saying, the recourse is not very much in Singapore. Unions also actually don't really cover gig workers. Even
they don't.
The biggest unions in Singapore also don't cover. It's actually that one. So we are kind of left alone.
Yeah.
We
It's
kind of
forever.
we must kind of just Rambo it all the way. Solo it all the way.
But somebody tried to create a union in our industry, right?
Our industry union.
Did they?
Yeah.
They tried. But I think they're still there. Just that it's hard for them to advance to the next level.
Yeah.
Not much support for them.
That's true.
Because creating unions is always bad for employers. I feel for It's my personal opinion. Because when you create a union, right, you got to standardize. Okay, let's say, okay, so in the Asian context, we don't have unions for like our AV workers, like audiovisual workers. In America, in Australia, they do have. New Zealand, they have unions. So it's a very strict, even Japan also is a very strict thing. So like they work 8 to 5 over there, like 9 to 5 means 5 p.m. they stop work, totally stop work. This is overseas, but in Singapore, no, you work for 56 hours straight.
Yeah.
Just recently, I worked 56 hours nonsense.
Same lah. Like it's like when you are in Australia, if there's literally like a clock in the middle of the venue, if they see it goes 12, right, everybody just drops
everything and go for lunch.
Yeah, but there's pro and cons.
Like, for
because
sure.
like that's why a lot of Ang Mohs like to work with us, Singaporeans and Malaysians, because we don't have like a 12 o'clock cut. We will work till, like you say lah, 56 hours.
Yeah, you work until the pants drop, that kind of thing. Like you work until you drop dead or something like that. So I would say there's pros and cons. Correct, yeah. But I think you're more cons than pros. If I just work for 50 plus hours, nonsense thing. I mean, we do know, we try. I mean, this podcast is to bring awareness also. That's why I feel. I mean, over the next few years, it's a evolving industry. We want to push it to a different level. I mean, nobody has ever, in our industry, actually have sat down and gotten a legal expert like yourself to sit down and speak to us. So maybe this might open up
more discussions.
And I mean, we want to improve the industry, that's for sure. That's why we are having this podcast. People outside the industry also might want to listen and see, even if somebody is not in this industry, also might listen to this and say that, oh, there's actually a way to do it. They can not be an AV person. It could be a photographer or
it's about
MC.
the same principles.
Because I know someone who's a friend of ours. 3 years payment. Yeah, still waiting. So, but then again, like why we say lah, like we're trying to create awareness. So at least like at the back of their head, when they listen or watch us, they're like, oh, okay, this is what we can do. Like for me, without me doing this interview, I have zero knowledge of what's going on. So at least now I have a better understanding.
I mean,
that's good.
There is some knowledge to be shared. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not encouraging or forcing anybody, oh, you must go and all. You can go to any law firm.
Of course,
Anybody, any way you want to do it. But I mean, like what we say as legal record, in Singapore, everything is legal. Like
everything's by the book.
By the book, correct, So we want to do something by the book. I mean, we want to do it by the book. The other way is we find alongs, gangsters, and I mean, like you said, like it's all just going to just risk and just snowball into something nonsensical.
Some people get license, debt collectors.
Debt collectors,
I know they have their own companies and all that.
Correct,
Those are also, you can try lah. I mean, they are of course more aggressive than lawyers. They will personally go down.
They open banner in front of your office. I've
We've
seen
had
it.
clients who do that lah.
I saw a few on Facebook.
I mean, they go to people's houses. I mean,
and what's the difference between them and you then?
We don't go to the house lah.
but like okay, like if let's say
they are definitely more aggressive.
They don't go to court.
They don't go to court. No. So they start
basically
harassing lah.
Basically, they hung you.
Low key harassing.
So I explained to him in his. Bro.
Now, if let's say if I were to use those guys to hang you, then if you feel harassed,
no, cannot do anything. They illegal, what?
Oh, so you cannot activate her.
We've had cases where we go after licensed debt collectors.
Because
as long as there's a few requirements on what harassment is lah. So if they are really out of.
Then again, if they have money to engage a lawyer, means they got money to pay you, bro.
Yeah lah. Correct.
It's true. It is logic.
No lah, but now if let's say that guy like don't want to give you the money, but he has the money, then suddenly you send me those guys, then I activate her.
If I send you, this is what I think. I think if I engage a legal debt collector, not those that day the message I sent to hire people to do this nonsense. I mean, that's illegal. But if you're a legal debt collector, I mean, if you follow the law, Singapore SPF laws and all that, then you feel harassed. You make a police report. I'm not sure how applicable is it, but if you go and find a lawyer to have a protection order, correct? Something like that. Means you got money to pay.
But some companies think it's more worth it to do that. They would rather pay lawyers than pay you. That's then you have dealt with the wrong people lah.
They irritated with you already lah. And they just want to put the point lah. I don't want to pay him lah. So The other
Then you
way-
have two issues to deal with: the money, the payment, and the harassment.
No, the other way I know. It not the common way lah.
Apa?
Bomo. Bro, that one nobody can do anything, bro.
Cannot trace.
No proof. Okay, don't listen to me. That one haram. Cannot. Nonsense, fella. Not from me. My mother is watching this. She's called me later. Okay. Okay, the next question also quite sad, but there's no recent legal developments or court rulings for, don't say even court lah. I mean, our Singapore MOM framework also, we don't have much for freelance workers, right? Actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not nothing.
Yeah, not nothing.
It's
yeah.
all guidelines lah, which companies can choose whether they want to follow or not. And most of the time they don't, because they know that they have the power, in this contractual relationship. They know that, of course, you need the payment. If you get the payment, then good lah, everyone's on good terms and all that. But we've had a lot of cases where, years go by, they don't get payment. And again, the recourse is with the law lah, which also takes time. It takes effort. You have to take time out of your day to go to court, talk to the lawyers, gather your evidence. And you have to work, right? So some people think, yeah, it's worth it. Some of them, even if the amount is small, they think, the principle of it, how can you not pay me back? I want to give it back to you lah, make your life difficult. That's some clients feel that way. The others feel that even if I need to spend money on it, I'm okay.
Yeah.
As long as I get this money back. Even if the legal fees and the amount that you're getting,
It's
just
you
No.
deduct.
Just to make a point.
prove a
Make a
point.
point.
Normally, it's to
Yeah.
prove a point. Normally, if you want to do it, you prove a point. Like,
Yeah.
It's to prove a point.
You
Yeah.
start first.
But of course, like you said, if it's, you have a personal relationship with that person running the company, then it's difficult to do that lah. But of course, these kind of things you shouldn't let them get away with it for so long as well. But again, it's really dependent on the situation lah. It's hard to give blanket advice for every.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, to a lot of people also today, when they listen to this, it's like a first time they're listening to this, or it's something new to them. Yeah, I mean, we even myself or him, we learn something every time. I mean, for yourself also, I mean, there's no, I understand there's no general specific way to do it. I mean, we can just, we're not vague, but we can channel it to ways we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another question I have, this is okay, not in Singapore. Let's see if foreign, we do shows overseas as well. Maybe contracted by maybe companies overseas. Let's say if they don't pay us. Like nowadays, quite frequent. Everybody goes overseas. An overseas company calls you to do work. So what if they don't pay you? What is is there anything we can do locally, or
Cry.
must we cry? Yes, cry your eyes out at night. So is there anything we can do locally, or must we go back to the country of origin and file something there, or how does it work?
You
Any
can
idea?
still send a letter of demand from Singapore.
All right.
You still can.
Yeah.
The issue comes in court lah. Suing someone who is overseas is a bit harder. There's a whole different process for that.
Yeah.
It's not as straightforward. So you can get advice locally from their local lawyers, to figure out what you can do. It probably is the same lah. Send a letter or go to court. But of course, if you have to go to court there, it's probably more of a hassle lah, right? You don't really want to travel back and forth.
Correct.
Stay there for long periods of time. So I think in these kind of situations, the payment terms are much more important lah. A bigger upfront payment, maybe one day before the event. I don't know if you can get the balance.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so these kind of things to ensure that at least by the time you're there,
correct.
at least 90 or 99% of the money is in. So even if you have to let go of 10% or 1%, it's still okay. Better than, coming back and not having been paid most of the fees that you are supposed to be entitled to.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Another thing about talking about fees. So let's say if I don't have a contract. Okay, we didn't do a contract, but on WhatsApp we agreed to maybe to a certain rate, maybe I'm just putting out there, maybe $300 a day. But at the end of the whole event, maybe the event is 5 days, so $1,500. They say, actually we don't have money, or we don't have
can do
enough.
150, no?
Can we pay you lower? Is this a breach of contract, or what?
By right, it is lah. Then again, the question is what are you going to do about it? right? How far are you going to push it? So in these kind of situations, if you can, I don't know if you can guess, let's say it's going to take 5 days. I'm sure do they tell you that upfront that it's 5 days or it's just
Meaning what, the
event?
they will tell us.
So they will
upfront.
tell you
Yeah.
lah. So same thing lah, get some payment first, right? I think that's the safest way to protect yourself also. At least get something in. So let's say if they pay 300 times 2.5 days, 50% lah. So if later they come back and say actually it's too high, they've already paid 300. You've already agreed to it. So you can't just ask it.
No, just wait for the next part.
The other thing, impossible. You want deposit? No need to work. We find somebody else.
So that's, it's hard lah. Practically, it's hard to just, carry out the advice.
I mean, these are, I would say, in logical, real world, but maybe for our industry, that's
it's not common. I mean,
it's not common.
If you take a deposit, there's always someone else that won't.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
If I do it at this price, somebody will do it cheaper.
Yeah. And they take advantage. I mean, it's just
it's a normal thing. I mean, it doesn't only happen in Singapore, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions that you have in your top of your head? Something, you might have something interesting to ask.
Like from the previous episodes.
Like?
Favorite meal.
Non-law.
Bro, she's a lawyer, bro.
I still eat, right? Right.
You think lawyer never eat? No lah, okay. But actually, like, I wanted to ask about the overseas gig because again, both of us, we travel a lot for work. So that means, you already answered. Like, if
It's
let's
hard
say
lah.
the base of the company or the office is in Vegas, then we have to arrange something in Vegas lah. Yeah, that is actually what I wanted to ask. I'm fine, bro.
All right.
You understand?
I think so. I understand.
Good for you.
Oh. Nonsense. Okay, so all right. So let's talk a bit about IRB. So what does IRB do? So Simran is from IRB Law, like I said earlier. So let's talk about what exactly does IRB do and where are they located and what can anybody go for to seek legal advice about in IRB?
So IRB is a relatively big law firm lah. Mainly the aim is to serve the community lah.
Okay.
So we have a lot of locations.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Main one is at Jalan Sultan. We have one at Mountbatten, Toa Payoh, and also Jurong.
I didn't know that. No, I
Yeah.
only thought you were in the
So
Sultan.
4 to 5 officers lah. So
Okay.
you can always find a lawyer. There's lawyers at each branch.
All right.
So we do a lot of actually every area of law lah. But of course we specialize in criminal,
Okay.
family, civil divorce, probate, Sharia divorce, commercial litigation. So like this would be commercial litigation lah. Asking for money, right?
Okay.
Recovering debts.
Oh, it's called
That's the-
commercial
That's
litigation.
the cheap
Okay.
words. Cheap word.
Yes. Or
Then-
commercial disputes.
Yeah, okay.
Commercial disputes. Trying to get money back. We also do conveyancing when you buy houses and stuff like that, properties. And also personal injury. So, workplace injuries or accidents.
Yeah, man.
See, talking about that workplace injury, see? Suddenly I got an epiphany.
My
about
question. That's why.
that. Water,
Yeah,
man.
but then again, like she said, like if it's not under.
Yeah, no, but it's something also like, okay, we digress just 1 second before we come back.
Yeah.
Workplace injury. So let's say freelance workers, not covered. Let's say I go and work for so and so company, I get injured, something drops on me. If I don't have personal insurance, then the company doesn't want to pay. So the next step is I must go to a law firm, lah, correct?
Lawyer lah. Then the lawyer will ask you, may advise you. Let's see what the company's insurance policy says. Doesn't cover anything, what?
Yeah.
Right? So these kind of things you can try and settle lah with them because, like I said, companies don't want bad publicity, right? If you get injured on their set or during something they hired you for, they have to be covered for something.
Understand?
There has to be something there.
Public liability.
Correct. Public liability, even regular injury insurance and stuff like that. They might be covered. They just might be playing hardball lah with you.
Ooh, interesting.
So always, you have to fight back lah. Have to. it's not very pleasant.
Yeah, I think maybe this generation now, the older generation of our industry might not have been so, I would say, more, I don't know what's the word,
Well-versed?
more well-versed. Oh, I want to say Garang, you say well-versed. So English up one level, amazing. So yeah, with this, I think when they listen and all that, I mean, I don't know. I'm not here to start a war in this industry or anything like that, but I just want people to be aware.
Yeah, of course.
Because at the end of the day, you work hard. I mean, if you do good work, you're supposed to be paid.
Yeah.
I believe you should be
But
paid.
then again, like out of all companies, the companies that you work for usually are the ones who take care of you. So it's not as bad. It's just that one-offs.
But no, there are one-offs. There are some companies which are morons also.
But the toxic companies, for me personally, I was just like, man.
Yeah, true. So I
If
mean,
you are still working with that toxic company, you are the one who's the problem.
toxic, yes. Yeah, true. I agree. Yeah, that's true.
And I'm sure word spreads, right? Certain companies don't pay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen it in the past many years. I've seen these kind of things happen. Yeah, but then again, there are new companies as well. There are new, young adults now trying to make a living in this industry also. So, I think people should be more aware.
Yeah, definitely.
And understand the whole concept of it. Yeah, so back to the IRB part. Yeah, we digress for a while.
So, I mean, we have a website, you can put your inquiries there, or you can email, there's a lot of ways to reach out lah. So we do offer free consultations. So the first consult is always free. Then you can come and ask all your questions.
Yeah.
Then we will let you know what are the options lah.
So let's say today I call hello, hi, IRB lawyer. I need to speak to a lawyer. So that first consult is free. Okay. Is there a time limit to it or anything? Or
no time limit lah, but reasonable lah.
Reasonable. Okay. Maybe
but of course, if the matter is complex,
do you do like walk-ins and all?
Walk-ins.
Like some people who are just too frustrated, don't want to be on the phone.
We will try our best to accommodate lah. Sometimes maybe you need to wait a bit longer.
It's best to call in and make an appointment.
Yeah. Then the lawyer will reach out to you to arrange a timing to speak or meet in person, whatever you want lah. So I mean, the goal is always to help people. It's not. People are always facing troubles, and yes, there's a lot of information on Google and all that on your options, but it's never the same as listening from someone else who explain it to you.
Professional and legal point of stand view. I mean, like you said, even just now you say, hey, I know, but I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
If I was a lawyer, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Wrong line, bro. Your mother must be disappointed.
My mother just didn't want me to end up in jail. So.
Okay, you're the other end.
So far so good, bro. So far so good. I still think so far so good. Yeah. But yeah, then again,
sometimes people just need to be heard also.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So don't be scared to go to a lawyer. It's nobody. I mean, nobody ever wants to see.
For me, like if I want to go to a lawyer, like, I know what's the issue. Just that I don't know how to express myself. Let's say that you get what I mean.
I understand. Not a problem lah. I mean, we've seen a lot of different types of cases. Usually yours is not the most unique. There's probably many other people who have come to us with the same problem.
Traumatic lah. I would say lah. Yeah.
So let's say if the issue is someone owes me money. Okay, we start with that. Who owes you? How much?
Yeah.
How long has it been? What did you give the money for? Stuff like that lah. So then you just have a discussion, see the options, whether you are okay to go to court, you want to wait, see how things go. So you can go for a consult. You're not obligated to sign up. You're not obligated to engage the lawyer. Sometimes it's just for you to get a clearer idea of what you can do. And then you try and do things yourself. If really cannot, it's too difficult, then maybe you can get lawyers involved lah. But at least you have someone that you can speak to.
I understand. True.
Yep.
Oh, just one question. I just got if I text somebody every day,
I would do it.
Yeah, you do it lah. I mean, everybody keeps telling, you text that person every day. So if I text somebody every day asking for money, is it considered harassment?
It's hard to say. I mean, I personally don't think so. At the end of the day, if someone says you're harassing them, they need to show that. Wow, these messages have made me a mess.
Oh, okay.
I'm so anxious. I'm so distressed.
I understand. So yeah, okay. So like said, if I like to hello.
Yeah.
He likes it, hello. So if I send him hello, hi, how are you? Can I get my payment every day?
That's quite
So
reasonable, I think.
But if they bring it to say, they go to
Yeah.
court and if a lawyer were to represent them and they make it a case, do you think it's possible? I mean, legally, is it considered harassment?
I think they have to show lah. So you can't just say, "Oh, I'm distressed." You have to show how are you distressed.
This will be judged by a judge lah.
Yeah, judge. So
Okay.
protection, harassment judge lah in the
Okay,
protection
understand.
from harassment court.
Okay.
So that's where they deal with all the harassment things. So of course the court will also ask that person, how are you distressed? You seem fine.
Yeah.
You haven't quit your job.
Yeah.
You haven't gone to a therapist, psychologist, nothing. Are you really affected by this?
Understand. Okay.
But of course you have to go through the motions lah to fight against
Understand.
what they're claiming.
Okay. So if I do it nicely every day lah.
I do that.
Oh yeah.
Once after 30 days, yeah. Hi, any updates? Hi, any updates?
Yeah, I mean that's not harassment. Any updates can't be harassment, right?
Unless they block you lah. Yeah, but if let's say if I go and find them personally, that could be grounds of harassment, correct? If
you're going aggressively, then probably If you're just going there to talk it out, it's harder for them to say that it is lah.
Understand. So
But
go
if
to a
let's say
place called
some
CCTV
people, like whatever he's
Ah.
saying, right, to go to the person, but with like not in a violent way, but you take out your phone or your camera to just record the whole ordeal, would that make you look bad or represent myself bad in
No.
No.
It won't, but of course, the moment you take out your phone and point at people
People will
get
be
angry,
unhappy.
right?
Yeah.
So it might just escalate the situation lah. It doesn't reflect badly on you, but is it wise to do that lah? If things are gonna get ugly, yeah.
Well, we never know what. Sekali that person attack me or what, at least I
Yeah, I mean, it's not illegal or anything, to hold your phone up, have a recording device. It's not. It's just that,
it's annoying.
people get angry the moment you put a phone in their face.
True.
Yeah.
So any closing for us, like advice for freelancers or in our very niche market before we close off the show?
Yeah. So, I mean, most important is to protect your own rights lah. Especially when it comes to payment. I don't know how practical it is, but try to get as much as you can up front. And then of course, if people refuse to pay you, don't think that it's the end of the road. There are a lot of options out there. Go see a lawyer, get a consult, and then you see whether you are willing to pursue, those legal options lah, considering the fees involved and all that. And always fight. I always tell my clients, don't be scared to not, physically fight, but, send emails, send chasers, reminders. It's your livelihood, right? It is something you're entitled to. Like you said, you've done the work, right? You should be paid, right? In any other case, in any other scenario, if you're an employee, you have the right to ask for your salary to be given to you. The issue is that you guys are not protected lah, right? There's no recourse. There's no organization you can go to complain. So you have to do it lah. You have to protect yourself because no one else is gonna do it for you.
True.
So there's a lot of information. If you don't understand it, don't worry lah. Hopefully this podcast is useful and helpful.
Useful for him as well. He understands a few things today.
Now I
Oh,
understand.
he feels empowered now. Thank you, Simran.
That's good.
Educated.
Next I bring English teacher. Then you see whether you're educated.
Bro, you bring Malay teacher for my oral exam. I like the picture. Then you have to explain to the top right.
Correct.
Malay N level I say in English. On the top right, cikgu.
Coming from you, I'm not surprised. Really not surprised.
Okay lah, you close officially lah. In a solemn way.
In a solemn way. Okay lah. I'm now high spirited already. No, actually I'm hungry. That's why. Lunchtime, bruh. Okay. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank Simran from IRB Law for so gracefully coming here today, taking a time off. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the
We
invite.
appreciate it a lot. I think Zad today is so empowered. I hope it empowers everybody else watching and listening. So, like what Simran said, do black and white. Don't feel scared. Seek recourse. It's not always the end of the road. There's ways and means to do it. Speak to somebody or just go down to one of the 5 friendly locations. 5 locations. 5 friendly locations of IRB Law. Or you can go to any law firm, not an issue. I mean, today IRB Law has gracefully come onto our podcast. And with that, thank you very much. Thank you, Simran, once again.
Thank you.
Empowered. You are.
Okay, cut.
Okay, thank you.